Welcome to the Outer Realm with MicheleDerocher and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network 105.3 from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey since the very beginning. Thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, thank you to Justice Snicker, a.k.a. Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his voice, his music, and his time for the intro you just heard. He is an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found at all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror genre and does fantastic commission pieces. So tonight is part 2 of the much anticipated segment with Kevin Estrella. And he's going to pick up where he left off, and he will be talking about some of the other ET visits that he's had and other experiences that he's had, telepathy protocols that he was taught by the Ponte and what they've been basically continuing on with teaching him, among other things. And this seems a little bit out there, but the coming Earth level extinction is a bit concerning. And of course, if that's not enough, there's going to be a heck of a lot more. So welcome, everyone. This is fantastic. The chat room is filling up, and we've got Wayne. You did make it first. Look at you go. Rarity indeed. Hi, Janie. Oh, Amelia's still down, not with us tonight, and I know she will definitely miss this one because she really loved the first segment he was on, but hopefully we'll have him on again as well. So hello, Heidi. Hello. I was like almost just breaking out in song almost. Just want to acknowledge everybody here. Hi guys. Now we've also got quite a few people coming in. I'm just going to double check here because for all of you who's on Rumble, okay, we've already got 43 people sitting there. Please feel free to comment. We will definitely see your comments, and we can definitely put them up on the screen, much like this. Sending prayers to Amelia. Thank you. And same with the people on X. Yes, people on X, we can't see your comments. We do see that you guys are chiming in. I can see it on the soundboard. So please feel free to comment and ask some questions, interact with myself or our guest. And, let's just get some good dialogue going. So anyhow, I have a smudge on my camera lens. What do I really? No, that thing, Wayne, happened when they were doing work upstairs. I don't know if they banged something around. So not so much a smudge on the camera lens, but whatever it is, I have not been able to get rid of that. So we'll have to explore that because it's driving me crazy anyway. Yeah, that's right. I thought it was Myers. No. That's just how things are going. See, it's so weird, isn't it? But look. I'm just going like that. See, nothing. So I know, not good at all, Wayne. Not good at all. I have to get somebody on that. But they're walking around over my head, and I'm kind of wondering if they just sort of mess with the lighting a little bit or something. No, not real fond of that whole thing. But hi, Doreen. We're actually just waiting for Kevin to come in. So that should be any time. So get your questions ready. And for those of you guys, because I noticed a couple of us got to hang out today while I was doing um, Ethereal Unveiled or Encounters Unveiled today. So go check that out. It is on the YouTube page. It is on Rumble. It is on X. And thanks, Heidi. Right? It's my amazing aura. I think we just should go with like Heidi's thought on that. I'm down for that. And Kevin is here, but I don't have a camera for you, Kevin. So nope. I see you in the green room, but no camera. So we'll have to wait for Kevin to get his camera up and running. Oh, and he's gone. Okay. So anyhow, you did. Oh, I'm glad that you were able to tune in. It was really a great interview. Carol Ann is just wonderful. Ethereal is one of the new shows here on the network, which is at 5 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. She has incredible guests, and you'll probably see some familiar faces on there as well. So definitely check it out. She talks about all kinds of amazing things, and we went over some of the guest lists that's coming up, and she's got some really amazing people coming up as well. So she basically is good to go. And then we've got Paranormal Insight, also a new show here on the network, which he's on at 3 p.m. Eastern. And guys, we've got a whole lineup. UPRN is growing, and we have some terrific new shows on. And really, really check them out, because it's just growing and growing, and it's still growing. So we're on the move. UPRN's probably at about 35 shows right now, which is beautiful. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was great to see you in there. It was great to see some familiar faces as well. I just love seeing all of our people. I love how you guys all bounce around. I think this is fantastic. Michelle, it was great seeing you in there as well. But I love how our guys all bounce around into the different shows that are on. So this is really, really great of you guys. Hello, Jen. Hello. Okay, so again, the last time Kevin was on, he talked about his relationship with the Ponte. And hi, David is on. Hello, David. David is actually on with us next week, you guys. And he's going to be on Wednesday night, the 20th. We're going to be talking about Atlantis. Yes, we are. But David's done a lot of research. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to have a slideshow. Pictures. Yes, yes, yes. So I have to do that. And yes, para-unity. Very important. Very important. Needs to be done. Needs to be done. So I'm guessing Kevin's having a bit of an issue. Anyway, when he was on, he talked a lot about his experiences with the Ponte. And apparently they are on Twitter. So you can actually get messages from these guys through the institution that he works with. And can't ask for more than that. So I've been kind of following along, and it is very, very interesting. Super interesting. Hi, Alan. How are you? And this is what we're going to talk about. The reset structure. Another theory. Lots of amazing information and a lot of incredible stuff and research is coming out of this location. So that's next week, guys, next Wednesday. Make sure that you are tuning in for sure. So when we're talking about all of this incredible information with Kevin, of course, has a band, and it's called Pyramids on Mars. Does really well, and he really opens up and expresses himself about this journey that he's on, which includes some of this incredible experiences that he's having. And he discusses the multiple different star nations that he has visited with, and he talks about the Ponte and their culture and what was official first contact. I am curious to see what he is going to find, or what his opinion is on the disclosure. So does anybody have any opinion on disclosure? That's hit and miss, because there's a lot of people who are just essentially thinking, you know what, they gave us nothing. So, I mean, whistleblowers, we're coming forward with a lot of information. But Congress itself here in the United States, for those who didn't know, yesterday was a disclosure at Congress, disclosure meeting. And I'm seeing and reading a lot of mixed reviews on that. I thought there was some pretty interesting things on there, but apparently it's nothing. So it's like, okay, so if that was nothing, I can't imagine what's out there. What are they hiding? And why do they want to hide it? That's my curiosity. Why do they want to hide it? What are they hiding to go to these lengths? I think it's time that, we start putting this out into the forefront, because it's sort of like we talked a little bit last night with Tony. How Kevin is back. Oh, yeah, still need a camera. Yeah, Kevin, no camera. But with that being said, sorry, I'm just watching Kevin just to see if he can get a camera. You might have to just message me in the private chat. No, disconnected. Completely disconnected now. So sorry, guys. Bit of tech difficulty from his end. I think people have to factor in that we all pretty much have one of these now. Okay. And we are a society of technology. We are having experiences. We are capturing some of this stuff on camera. We are going through all of this. How do they just look at us and say, no, you're not really experiencing this? This is crazy. Okay. Yes. Yes, this is true too. Knowledge is power. Not that be not, but do not want the common person to have access to that knowledge. So how far ahead do you think they are? Technology wise. Kevin, I still have no camera. Okay, hold on. I see in private chat. 1 second. I'm going to try okay. All right, hold on. He's going to try again on another device. Okay, that's fine. How far in advance do you think they are, technology speaking? Like, some people believe it's 50 years, some people believe it's 100 years, some people believe it's more. They've hidden so much. Oh, absolutely. Everything we know is pretty much not what we are all being conditioned to, you know, to learning, which is also something that, applies to Stig here, because he'll be talking about the different stuff with Atlantis, stuff that's going on in the Americas, long corridor that points directly to the mouth of the reshut structure. Yeah, 7 days he'll have pictures. So it's just other stuff too. Like, why are we not made privy to some of this? We look at our ancient history and we look at the connections that the ancient people had with, let's face it, with extraterrestrials. So why are we in an age right now where we're fearing them? Nobody wants to admit that they're there. I think it's crazy. I think it's absolutely crazy. You look at ancient structures, you look at the different hieroglyphs, petroglyphs, you name it. There are stuff all over the place. And some of this information is put right out there. So why I mean, is this why they keep going through cycles where they're trying to erase history? Huh? That's food for thought as well. Advance beyond what we can wrap our heads around. It would be mind blowing if it really came into being. Well, I think Joe, our producer and network owner, has often said as well. Then they might have to admit that they've known about abductions, and why wasn't anything done about it? Their people are being taken. I don't know. Right? Mislabel. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Tamara. So I don't know. It's yes, 6 days. So I think we need to do our research. It's very important that we take the time to really research. And whistleblowers, a lot of these people risk their lives. And just so you guys all know, there is a show coming up in the new year on whistleblowers and the risks that they do take when coming forward with some of this stuff. You just can't make this stuff up. I mean, you could, but there's people who have gone missing. There's people who have, we'll just leave it there, okay? Because they have come forward with information. So this is going to be mind-blowing when this finally comes to pass. Jen, if we knew what kind of money were going into this, they would be in a lot of due. Yes, they would, because money actually goes missing, which is not cool. Alan, we are not the most technologically advanced people that have existed. Not at all. Those who came before us were more advanced, both technologically and spiritually. We are children. We are. I mean, we're going to do a show on Tartaria as well. And right there, when we look at the structures that they claim went up in like literally a year or two for some of these world fairs, there's absolutely no way. Not at all. No way. Because in Toronto, we still have the exhibition every single year. And we still have the main gates. That is complete Tartaria. Completely. Yet it's all still there. So, with that being said, don't tell me that all of these things just miraculously went up in a couple of years. They got easily torn down. Some of them, what, by horse and cart? Come on. No, no, not at all. Not at all. So, so just let me know when you're ready, Kevin. You just put your hand up and I'll know to bring you on. So, let's start factoring some of that stuff in. I mean, so much has been kept. And well, I can't because you're in the green room. Do you want me to bring you in? Yeah, once you're set up, I'll bring you in. Yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, he's just getting himself set up on a different device. So bear with us, guys. Thank you very much. So, I mean, if we're factoring some of that stuff in, we have to really factor in, come on, look, we're either being played for fools, seriously, because there's absolutely no way that they could do that. That kind of technology takes incredible skill and it takes incredible, shall we say, equipment to make it work, especially when you're looking at how huge these things were. People look like ants in front of this stuff. How are you going to manage that? You're not, because we in Toronto still have some of these buildings. They never tore it down. It's all still there. And you can go and see this year after year. But I'll tell you, the city is starting to creep up on it. So some of these buildings are going to start melding into some of the newer stuff, and we're going to eventually lose it. Saturn and Neptune are going to be sharing in pieces, and every 36 years, this happens, and paranormal UFO sightings happen in history. Very true. Very true. Hold on, still taking comments. The money comes out thin air. Funny that, doesn't it? I can't wait for the Tartaria. I'm looking forward to doing it. I've got quite a bit of research on it, and old photos, and we'll definitely get into it because I am anxious to hear what you guys have to say about it. Absolutely. And none of people are critical thinkers. I agree 100%, Kathy. Jen, humans are disposable, and that's what people who tell the truth. That's exactly what happens. Exactly. Agreed. You ready, Kevin? Yeah, all right. So without further ado, Kevin is in the house. Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. We had some technical difficulties there.
I see this. Well, Old Faithful. I love it.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, I am on my cell phone, so I'm not. I had everything hooked up through my laptop directly to my router. So
Right.
hopefully that we'll have a clear signal and not get broken up. So
so far so good. So far so good. So what's been happening since the last time you were on, before we start getting into the whole gusto of what we're going to talk about?
Well, actually, what has been interesting, because one of the things we will be talking about are my ongoing extraterrestrial visits that happen.
Yes.
And I get quite a wide variety. Let's just put it that way. I had an interesting visit about 3 weeks ago, which we'll get into.
Okay.
But the amazing thing that's been happening recently has to do with, we'll be talking about the Ponti, who are behind me, the Zetas here, who
Yes.
have been my teachers, and I gave a special request in the summertime about helping me develop my telepathy, and they have been working with me with that, and I've been basically going into alpha theta states in the mornings and evenings, and I'm starting to hear my neighbors telepathically.
Wow.
And sometimes I'm starting to see images and seeing through people's eyes, glimpses here and there, hearing phrases, hearing a ball drop, hearing somebody who must have been half awake, and hearing a shutter of their curtains banging against a window. I'm hearing that telepathically in my ear, left ear.
Okay.
So I'm experiencing things through people's eyes, which is what the Ponti told me would happen, and not to be alarmed by it, because this is them helping me to get into the right alpha state. So that's really cool. We'll be talking more about that, because that's the newest thing that's taken place.
And I love it. I love it because it's a form of evolution. Like you just keep growing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like every time we connect, it's just like, all right. You just keep going. And I love that. I love that it's a continuous learning journey as well. It's not just, hey, we're here. You're actually interacting and you're actually getting something out of it, which is phenomenal. It's ongoing.
Yeah, it's something that I gave a special request to back in the summertime, because Sue Walker, who's a telepath for the Ponti, she needs to, she's not going to be around forever, and there has to be some succession planning, and that is what I was talking about, saying, I'm the next one to pick things up from here. I need to get my level of telepathy up to hers. And they said, we agree. So you want teachers? And I'm like, yes, I guess that's what I'm asking for. And they said that from now, which is beginning of July through to September, you're going to have several Ponti teachers come to you and teaching you at night. And it'll be happening until September. And that's what they said. They said that you'll start to hear your neighbors telepathically. Do not be alarmed. And then eventually you will differentiate our voices and hear our voices. And so what happened was, back at the beginning of September, just like on clockwork, like they said, one morning I heard clear as a bell. I heard Tani, one of my Ponti teachers. We knew that her voice sounds like Judi Dench, the actress. And I heard clearly the voice of Judi Dench say to me, every morning and every evening, practice it. In regards to what I was doing, practicing getting into alpha, clearing my mind like a pool, like a pond of water to with no waves, and then I'm able to differentiate the voices that are not mine. And she knew that I was doing this. So then, once I heard her voice, I went on to Twitter, because the Ponti are on Twitter at Sandia Wisdom. If you want to follow them, folks, Real Extraterrestrials using Twitter, check them out.
Which is crazy. I love it.
Yeah, I've been following them since 2016. Every single day I'm on there. It's very real. They have followers all over the world, and their followers are getting visits by the Ponti, and we have lots of testimonials of it on their website, officialfirstcontact.com. So it's very true. People who make friends with the Ponti make friends with you, and they come and visit you and check you out.
So, see, there you go. This is better than a CE5. So
yeah.
So what do you say? Like, I know I may have asked you this, but I know we have new listeners, and we have new people in chat as well. There are some researchers out there who will say, "Oh no, the Ponti don't exist." What do you say? I know. What do you say to that? Like, it's like they're just completely like they're like disregarding it. I don't know enough about it. I've only been really researching ufology, and because I've sort of wakened up to my own realization that I'm an experiencer and have been since I was a child. So now I sort of have to get, versed on it. But when I've mentioned the Ponti before, I've been said, "Oh no, that's not a thing."
Well,
okay.
That's coming from the quote researchers. Why don't you ask the First Nations, like the Zuni tribes and the other Pueblo tribes of New Mexico, who live there, and they know very well of the Ponti and have had interactions with them for hundreds of years. So go look up videos of Clifford Mahudi, Zuni tribe leader. He used to be a friend of mine. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
They talk about the Star Nations from the Sandia Mountains. So you can either go talk to a researcher, or maybe you can listen to the Pueblos who talk about this, and it's in their culture, and it has been passed down for generations. And you make your decision.
I think it's terrific, because it's like, the Hopi, who have their own experiences with the ant people, as they call them.
That's
the people, right. So I think that is clearly where people have to look, is with the indigenous of any culture, because they have stories and lore that go back hundreds, if not more, thousands of years, right?
Yes.
So I love that. Yeah. So Kathy said, that's the Hopi. Exactly.
Exactly. And the Ponte do talk about the Hopi. They also talk about the ant people and the last cataclysm, and how even the Zunis were moved by the ant people to a new location when their homes were destroyed after the last extinction level event. And when the Zuni arrived at the area, the ant people had already built them houses.
Wow. That's amazing, because I think where we're mirroring what's happening, now people are like, oh my God, are we going to have races from other beings coming and helping us? People think that we're heading into cataclysm again. People think that we're, theorizing, but we're in darker days, and they'll say, well, are they coming? And they're people just like, no, we got ourselves into this. But yet I hear something like this, and it's just, but then again, I realize too, there's a different type of connection with the indigenous people than what we have right now, because I think we've been so conditioned to ignore contact, or to ignore those signs.
Yeah, with the Zuni, it's it's written in their culture. They talk about kachinas. They talk about these meetings with these star nations, as they called them, and they taught them things. And actually, some of their language has been adopted from these star nations who visit them. So the language that they speak is actually the language that was passed on to them. And there was also trading done. They would trade seeds for something else. Like there was trades that happened, which actually gets an even more evolved of regarding spermatopia and or span, whatever they call it, about how did things get here on Earth and they come from space. Well, that's actually true, but it's not like they came on a meteor and survived the burning up the atmosphere and then grew out of the ground. No, there's plant. There are nations who bring things to Earth that they think will grow well here and flourish here. So, they have there's creator gods who are involved and have been involved in the evolution of the Earth. Marijuana is not originally from Earth. Let's put it that way.
No, they're interesting right there. But and
neither is bamboo.
Funny that. So who brought the bamboo and the naja? Ganja.
The ganja.
The ganja. Oh,
yeah.
I'll say it. How can so-called experts knock someone's experience by saying that their visitation doesn't exist? It just shows how little, when there is a link in history with the native people. No, I do agree. I do agree. And I think this is why you also see so many incredible petroglyphs. I mean, the Hopi have shown some, of the petroglyphs, but there's other stuff or they show copies of it. Like they don't show, I don't think they take people to the actual sites anymore, do they?
Well, funny you mentioned that. I went with a friend and we visited the petroglyphs, some of the petroglyphs around Albuquerque. And we actually had quite an incredible experience with that.
Okay.
Want me to tell you what happened? Please,
of course. Okay. It's your show. Just go crazy.
So a friend of mine, her name is Michelle Aguirre. She studies Dolores Cannon's protocols for quantum it's like I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's getting into trance, and it's basically you're quantum jumping into different lifetimes and reliving these lifetimes. And she's done this as a hypnotherapist, professional hypnotherapist, with many different people. And she has 2 very thick books on quantum disclosure of where they went to, and what they were seeing, and the lives that they lived in the past, and it covers a whole bunch of different things. And like I was skeptical at first, and then I started reading her book, and I'm thinking, there's no freaking way these people are making this stuff up. This is very detailed, and they're reliving things. It's deep. Yes. It's freaking crazy. And so I'll tell you when I really started to believe things, because she took me into the effing desert to see the petroglyphs. And she wanted to meditate. And I'll tell you what happened, man. Oh man, good. Okay. I can't make this stuff up. And so we walked a mile in the desert to get to some of these petroglyphs. So it was a hot summer day. Beautiful, sun shining, but there was a thunderstorm that was off in the distance, and so we get to this area, and then when we're standing, then all of a sudden we see the rocks there, and then we could see these petroglyphs, and of course it's blocked off with with police tape saying "Do not cross this," and we're like, who's gonna know? No one's gonna know. Who's gonna know? that right. TikTok meme. And so we crossed over. And then we start getting close to these petroglyphs and started seeing some very interesting things. And then there was one that captured my attention. And it was a circle inside a circle inside a circle, almost looked like the target symbol. But I recognized
aren't those like portal ones too?
Yes, that's what it was. It was a portal.
Wow.
That's exactly what it was. The ones that you see, like some of the petroglyphs, you see those drawings of that. Yes, those are drawings of actual portals. And the reason I know this is because I actually have a photograph on my phone that somebody took of a portal like that, exactly like that formed over in the desert with this spiral circle of almost like dirt and stuff like that. So I've got a photograph of it. I'll have to probably send it to you another way. But when I saw that, it's like, that's a portal. And so Melanie wanted to open it. And so
there's always got to be that one friend, eh?
Yeah, there's always that one friend. I'm like, oh, this isn't a good idea. I don't know about this.
The logical guy. This is not going to go well.
It's not going to go well. And so she sets up her laptop, and it's looking at her, and she's lying next to this picture of this portal, this petroglyph, and then she starts speaking, and it almost like robotic, and she's talking. It's them talking through her, talking about how this is a portal for many star nations to open up and come through in this area. And I don't remember everything that she was saying or doing, but then she started doing this stuff with her hands, and I'm filming her with my camera as well. And then all of a sudden, it looked like it's starting to rain. Like there's just looks like small fragments of rain are starting to fall. And I'm looking at her, and I'm going like this, and it's like there's nothing. I don't feel anything. I could hear the thunderstorm off in the distance, but there's still no rain. And I have my sunglasses on, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's just my sunglasses. I take my sunglasses on, I'm looking at her, and I could still see the stuff that looks like rain that's following her. Then I turn to the left, I don't see anything. I turn to the right, I don't see anything. It's only when I'm looking at her when I'm seeing this stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? I don't feel very comfortable about this. And I don't know what she was doing, but anyway, the long and short of it was she was doing this stuff, and I think she was activating the portal. And then she said, you have 5 minutes before the storm is going to get to you. And I was thinking, doesn't seem like it's that close. But then we realized that we better get going. And so we pack up quickly, and within 5 minutes, the wind picked up, and the wind is blowing across the desert. The sand is blowing. The thunder is starting to come, like this huge wall is coming towards us. And we're just booting it through the desert, trying to get back there was like these massive centipedes crawling across the ground, running in front of us in the sand, and it was freaky. But long and short of it was, because I was skeptical, right?
Right.
I'm the host of Pyramids of Mars UFO Radio on the Artist First Network, and we were doing my show that night, and that's the reason why I wanted to get back, because I was afraid that we were going to be late for my show, because we were doing a special live from Sandia Mountain with the Ponte. When I got back, Sue was talking to us, and then one of the Ponte interrupted Sue and turned to me and said, "Kevin, in the desert, were you paying attention?" And I was like, "Oh shit, no, I wasn't." And they said, So the Ponte were spying on us when we were out there in the desert. They were with us at that time. I didn't know. And they knew that I was not paying attention. I was more worried about being late for the show. And they wanted me to be paying more attention to what Michelle was doing. So with all that stuff, I realized that she was the real deal. Whatever was going on, whatever trance she was in, it was no bullshit. So, sometimes you have to experience these things yourself. I'm a skeptic too, and I meet a lot of people who claim that they're the reincarnation of Jehovah, or reincarnation of this or this reincarnation, and I'm very skeptical. I don't not believe them, but I listen to them. Of course, I'd like to have proof and stuff like that, but I always listen to people.
It's always nice. Yeah.
I listen to people, and I never doubt anybody's experiences. I do not never doubt what they're saying, because I don't know. I cannot prove it or disprove things.
Everyone's got a story. Yes.
Everybody has a story. Yeah. And so sometimes you hear crazy stories, but you need to have an open mind, because there is so much that people experience that is so beyond the paranormal. The stuff that you've experienced, and the stuff that you share with me freaking has blown my mind. I'm thinking, is that even possible? Is that even true? But but you experienced it. So it's like, you have to be open to what everybody people says, because we're all learning.
I think it's important as well. I mean, I think I have enough stories. I don't have to make any up. I can go on forever with this stuff that's happened to me, which far supersede, those sort of events, because it's just been, my whole life has been built on high strangers. I come from a family of it, but I also think that, it's also stuff when you have people who just don't want to talk about certain things. And when you listen to why, you're kind of like, I don't think you'd want to make mention of that. Like, some things you can't put out there. You just can't, and then you have these whistleblowers. I was saying we're going to have to do a show on them, because people risk their lives to tell some things. It's sort of like pick and choose what you want out there. There's a lot that I have out there, and then there's stuff that I don't put out there for obvious reasons. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I know that I had a secret space program whistleblower on one of my shows, and shortly after he was on my show, he completely disappeared. And the other people who I knew in the SSP programs told me that he was threatened, and that he even disappeared off of the SSP support groups on Facebook, and because he was terrified for his life. So you never know what's going on out there.
People do risk their lives, but I think it's interesting because, of course, with the disclosure hearing that they had yesterday, a lot of these whistleblowers, a lot of people came forward and basically put it out there, what they had experienced, how they felt things were, and of course, people who've been waiting for this forever, kind of going, "You gave us nothing," but this might be one of those things that we're not going to get everything, because it can be dangerous.
Well, we're getting steps and steps closer. Yeah, I did see some of it. They highlighted a lot of the stuff today from the from those meetings. I also found out. Do you know Chris Bledsoe?
I know of him. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So he released the book UFO of God. He's had a lot of contact with. He calls them the Guardians. He has orbs that show up, and he's followed by NASA, the Vatican, FBI, the military. They are all work with him because they all know what he's saying. He's the truth. Well, Chris was actually there. He was actually in the audience watching the whole thing yesterday. So I thought that was cool.
That is cool. Yeah, we had our guest last night was there as well. I think that there's a lot of people who were all anxiously waiting, to say and to give you nothing is to, I'll make 2 points. For them to say, no, they're giving you nothing, it's sort of a slap in the face to all of us who have had experiences, all of us who want experiences, but I mean, I get it. They're not just going to come out and give you, they're not going to give you very much. They're just not. But we are in an age of technology. We are all connecting with one another. I truly believe, just like you have been on your journey and you've connected with all of these incredible people, I truly believe that like-minded people and experiences will find a way to one another. The experiences will keep happening, whether they want to admit they're there or not.
Yeah. And the thing that they don't realize is that, and this I was funny. Susie Hansen, who's in New Zealand, who's a very well-known experiencer.
She's been on the show. She's wonderful.
Oh, she's amazing. And she was talking about one of the things that they showed her of this planet with all these lights, and they're all connecting, and they're all connecting to each other all over the planet. She said, "These are the experiencers. These are the starseeds. They're all connecting, and they're making one bright thing, a globe across the earth that is one bright beacon of truth and knowledge." But so by us all connecting to each other, we are creating this massive light network of light, of truth. And I never thought of it that way, but she's right. And these are very
like a web. It's
like
just
a web.
A web. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense when you put it into that perspective. People will find a way. And I always find it interesting how many people I've met since I've been on this journey. And I've had people say, well, we gravitate, we will gravitate to you, like you're providing a platform, and it's a voice for some of us. And I was thinking, you don't really quite look at it that way, really, because I mean, I look at it as I learn from you. I learn from all kinds of people. I love to continue to learn. I research. I'm known for the type of research that I do, but I like to learn something new every day. And I learn more from you guys coming on and sharing in your experiences, because before meeting you, I had no idea that this incredible place you talk about existed, and I mean, to go on Twitter and have, that is totally awesome. I want to make note of one of our listeners here, because she made 2 comments. "Hi, Michelle. I can't get over the pictures behind Kevin. They look so familiar." She said in an earlier post that they look like the faces that she has seen in big orbs in her home. Oh, I think we're frozen.
Oh, the Ponte?
Are you there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Ponte. Yes. She says they look like.
I can hear it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You froze. So I wasn't sure. So, right.
Yeah.
So,
no, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
So.
Perfect. Yes. She says they look very familiar to her because she will often get balls of light that will come into her home. And she goes, those faces look like the faces I see in these balls of light. Is that something they do?
Okay. Well, I do know that the bottom portrait down here, Drudy, Sue, I don't know who it was, but somebody recognized Drudy and just started crying because they saw Drudy had visited them, and she recognized her immediately and just knew that it was her. So that does happen.
Wow. Well, there you go, Michelle. So maybe Michelle, you're going to have to maybe put it out there. I've learned so much from watching live streams, met great like-minded people. I think this is one of those ways where these connections are made. I'm sure you find, Kevin, since doing your own show, that people have gravitated to you and you gravitate to them, and you share this information. But that's pretty much how it starts. I think it's in networking that keeps it all going strong, because otherwise, with the type of censorship that we have going out there, I don't know how much we'd get out there.
Well, exactly. And for people who are going to be asking how to follow me, you used to be able to follow me on Facebook, but they suspended my account about a month ago, and I don't know
Wow.
if I'll ever get it back. So,
Wow.
and I didn't even post anything. So,
Someone
obviously,
sounds like someone would have sound like someone may have reported you, which is crazy because fake accounts come up all the time, and when you report them, they go, "This doesn't go against our standards." So, what do you have to do to get a profile removed? Is my question. If you
well,
didn't
they
post
they
anything, there
they
you go.
suspended my account. I didn't post
Wow.
anything.
Wow. See,
No.
doesn't take much, does it? Um, okay, so let's go from there. So you ended up having this incredible experience in the desert, the portals. Um,
Mhm.
portals, I think, are something that we have them all over the world. Do you find that this is how the Ponte will come in and out of our space through portals, or is it just like a quantum thought?
They haven't talked very much about using portals here on Earth for themselves.
Okay.
They talk about when they're doing interstellar travel from Earth to other planets.
Mm-hmm.
There's quadrants there that they go to, which are like almost like kind of like wormholes.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to explain it. They're areas that they're able to skip through, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like shortcuts and stuff like that to
Right.
be able
Right.
to navigate back to, say, they're going back to their planet Pontel, which is 40 light years away
Mm-hmm.
in the Zeta Reticuli. So
Mm-hmm.
it varies depending on those pathways that they take. They say sometimes the trips can take anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months. So I guess it really depends on factors, but they're able to take shortcuts in space.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
I just
That's interesting.
don't know the technology behind it.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, they get here. That's what's important. So you were talking about telepathy, and they teach you telepathy protocol. What is the telepathy protocol exactly? The
Well,
do's and don'ts.
the Pont. Okay, the Ponte. Actually, it's Tani, one of our teachers. She developed the Telepathy 101 primer, which is
Mhm.
it's a free telepathy primer or telepathy book that you can download at their website, officialfirstcontact.com.
Mhm.
It's available in about 17 different languages. It's completely free,
Mhm.
and it talks about how to develop your telepathy.
Okay.
And they go into a lot of details about telepathy is more than just hearing a voice in your head.
Mm.
Telepathy is communicated in symbols, in visuals, in emotions, um, and auditory. It's communicated in multiple different ways.
Mhm.
So, but it's also each of us has a particular learning style that we're more attuned to. Some people
Mhm.
are more visual learners, others are more audio, some are
Mhm.
more kinesthetic, with touch. But most of us are kind of like, Heinz 57s, where we are a blend, where we have strengths in each
Mhm.
ones. So
Mhm.
it's really a matter of knowing ourselves and knowing our best ways of how we communicate. That's
Mhm.
step one. Step two is learning about your mind and alpha and getting yourself into an alpha state. So an alpha state is it's a slightly dreamier state. It's a
Mhm.
kind of state that you can get into and say if you're reading or if you're playing an instrument.
Mhm.
It's a lower vibration, and then you are at a higher telepathic reception.
Mhm.
So learning how to get yourself into alpha will help you with developing your telepathy. And that's what I'm working on right now, is really
Mhm.
working on how to get myself into alpha and sustain it for longer periods of time. We
Mhm.
all do it naturally 3 times during the day. when we first wake up in the morning, we're still groggy and drowsy. If you stay in that state for as long as you can, and then what you do is picture your mind like a pool of water that's still. With your thoughts, let your thoughts clear. Let your mind be one and clear, and then wait for those bolt out of the blue thoughts that come to you, and start to pay attention to them. Notice I said that pay attention. Yeah.
Right.
Start paying attention to those thoughts that come to you like a bolt out of the blue, or it could be an image. Now you may think that you're falling into a dream. That's not exactly what's going on. You're actually starting to communicate. You're starting to pick up on different radio signals. It's kind of like, a million different radio signals of each people, and you can tap into thoughts, and try and keep yourself into alpha as long as you can, and practice that. So that's one way. That's what I'm consciously. That's what my learning lesson right now. Those are my lessons that I'm working on every morning right now, is doing that. And being able to get myself into alpha and stay in that state for longer and longer, and pay attention to the thoughts that are coming to me, differentiating my thoughts from the ones that are coming that are not mine. So that's a great way. But the primer gets into a lot of detail about how to develop this as well. They talk about that, about your the thoughts that are in the background, your background thoughts, paying more attention to those. They talk about
it's all the noise. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. The noise in the background, paying more attention to those random thoughts that are coming to you. And also they talk about the parts of your brain that work with telepathy. So like your amygdala, which is kind of right behind your eyes, it's kind of wrapped around in this part of your brain. So they talk about turning your headlights on and putting more emphasis and focus on that part of your brain. So there's all these different little things that you have to work on, that all, when you put it all together, then you start to develop telepathy.
Question for you, Shane and Tammy. Hello. You've mentioned a few books, one about God, another about telepathy. Could you comment what they are again, please? Tammy.
Sure. The Telepathy 101 primer. It's a free download. It's from the website officialfirstcontact.com.
I put it in the comments for you there too, Tammy.
That's the Aponte's official. That's the Aponte's actual website, officialfirstcontact.com. Now, what was the other book that she was mentioning? The other thing I mentioned?
She said one about telepathy, one about God. There we go. Sorry. There we are.
God. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned anything about God.
Okay.
I'll have to think about that, but
I would say go to the website. I did put the website up in all of our streams, so you can catch them on any of the streams. Just click on them and go peruse. You'll probably find, this one. This makes sense. Okay, hold on. This one. Chris Bledsoe's book. Hi, Ruth. UFO of God.
UFO of God.
Yes.
UFO of God by Chris Bledsoe. Yes.
Okay.
That's the one. Yeah, that's on Amazon.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
So some people are saying fear, having to get over the fear of being able to.
Absolutely.
Yes. So why would you experience fear? Is it because it makes you feel uncomfortable at first? Because I know when I get downloads or when I tap into things, it's either when I'm waking up, incredible things come to me, or just getting ready to fall asleep. Then I'm in that state where I can receive more. Whereas if I'm asleep, don't ask me to remember. It won't be a thing. So.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah. But there's nothing to be afraid of. If you're when you're doing this, no one's going to attack you. All you're doing is it's the same thing like changing radio station. You're just flipping through radio stations, and you pick up a station. Then there's static, and then you pick up a station. You're static. You pick up a station, and that's kind of what was happening with me. All these random different things were happening. Some of it was auditory, and some of it was visual. I remember the auditory, like twice I heard like a ball dropping on the ground going doo, 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 doo. And I was thinking maybe somebody was asleep and they were woken to the sound of a ball dropping. Why am I hearing a telepathic ball? Then, hearing curtains knocking against a window, that was pretty wild because I was only hearing it in my left ear. Well, my telepathic left ear I didn't hear it physically. I heard it telepathically.
Right.
So that was pretty wild.
Yes.
And then sometimes I would be seeing images. It was like I was seeing through the eyes of somebody who looked like a hotel bar, and he was on a higher place, and he was coming down 3 steps, and there was a lady, an Asian lady wearing a red dress, and she's under a light, and she's looking at him, very amicably, and I was seeing that through his eyes. Then the next thing I was seeing was somebody looking at their phone, and there was a text message there, and then it was like dash RFK or something like that I was seeing. So I was seeing through somebody's eyes there. The next thing I do is I would see somebody participating, playing soccer. It was a soccer match or something like that. I was randomly seeing through different people's eyes. It was flash this, flash that, flash this, just like if you're switching channels on a TV station. It was freaking wild. It's like I saw that, I heard that, I saw that, I heard that, and then one morning, I heard Tani's voice, clear as day, saying every morning and every evening, practice it. What I was doing, she said that, and then this is the part I didn't say. I went onto Twitter and I said, guys, I thought I heard Judi Dench's voice saying this, and I've been seeing all this random stuff and hearing all this random stuff telepathically. And I said, am I losing my mind? And then I think it was Beam, one of the Ponte, came on and responded to me and saying, we were all placing bets here at the mountain when you'd be getting back to us. Yes, it was definitely Tani, whose voice you heard, who was speaking to you. She knows that you've been actively working on differentiating people's voices from your own. And oh, by the way, we were all placing bets when you were going to come on here on Twitter and tell us this. And one of your Pyramids on Mars groupie fans, one of the last Estraitas, won the bet. So
nice.
I thought that was so cool.
That's nice.
So my band Pyramids on Mars, my band Pyramids on Mars, I played concerts here for the Ponte here in my condo, and the girls have given themselves a nickname. They call themselves Las Estrellitas because my last name is Estrella. Well, Estrellita means little stars, and they just love that name. And so that's what they call themselves, the little stars.
That's fantastic. I love that. I love that. Aw.
Las Estrellitas, yeah.
I love it.
It's
it's such a cool connection.
It is.
It
and
is.
I actually had a concert for the Ponte here. If you want to check out my music, go to pyramidsonmars.com. I forgot to mention that. My music is instrumental rock, very similar to Satriani and Steve Vai and guys like that, but it's I'm more classically influenced. But check out my music. The Ponte really love my music. I had a concert for them last Thursday, and I can't see them because they're always invisible. But I asked them, if you could maybe like leave something or maybe move something so I know that you were here. And it just happened to be that later on that evening, I was walking by my desk, and I have crystals set up exactly in specific spots on my desk. And my pyramid and obelisk crystal had been shifted to the side, and this other disc I have was moved to the back of my desk. So they moved that stuff that night. I knew it. It was like, oh, guys, thanks so much. That's just awesome.
Aww. So they're never very far, it seems. You
Oh
know.
God, no! They're here all the time. Like right behind me, you see this wall? It's
Yes.
covered in chalk marks from them. They've chalked up my entire condo. That's a whole other story we haven't talked about. Like you know how
Chalk.
people get toilet papered? People get
Yes.
toilet papered. They've chalked up my entire condo. It's
Why
hilarious.
chalk?
It's
Why
true.
chalk? Yeah.
Good
Why
question.
chalk?
Good
Let's ask
question.
them. I want to know. Inquiring
Why
minds want to
chalk?
know. Why the chalk?
I think it's white chalk, like on my white walls. But it's like, I didn't discover it for days. The first time they did it was in my bedroom, and my walls are white except I have the wall behind me is Venetian plaster, so it's like reddish, but it's like different colors. It's different shades of red, and I happened to notice one morning that it was kind of whitish, and there's a part that was kind of like blurred out with. It looked white. Like I didn't realize it was chalk. It wasn't until like a couple days later when I looked more carefully at it, and I saw that it was chalk. And can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You just cut out for a
Can you
quick
hear
minute.
me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I cut out for a second, and
Yes.
then when I looked in the light, I could see these handprints all over the walls. Four-fingered handprints. The Ponte had like marked their hands all over. And then I discovered that they did it in the hallway. They chalked up parts of my hallway, and I could see handprints. But the craziest one is that I didn't discover it until the sun was hitting the right angle in the hallway, and just by my bathroom door, right at the top of the roof, there are these hieroglyphs of a different language written in chalk. I didn't write those. I was like, oh my God, there's symbols on my wall, and they're still there. I'm not touching that. That's evidence.
Did you take
So it's
pictures? Like, did
incredible.
you document it
I've
and
taken
send it off?
pictures. I've
Yeah.
documented it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I sent it to Grant Cameron because he was
Yes.
writing a book on this kind of stuff. So I sent it to Grant Cameron, but I
Yeah.
was anonymous. I didn't want my name being associated with it, just
Yes.
because I
Because.
didn't understand what it was, and I didn't want to be ridiculed or mocked. Somebody saying, "Oh, Kevin, you just you do so much work with Grant. You're just trying to get attention. You probably did that yourself." So I just went anonymously, and just said it was, just set the stuff in. Please don't publish my name. But
Right.
we'll see.
Yes. Was he able to decipher any of this? Was he able to figure it out? Oh, frozen. Frozen. Hello. We're frozen. Well, that would be cool. So, I'll just keep going. So perhaps they use chalk because it's not easy to see and it's easy to remove. Interesting. Interesting. Possibly. I mean, Alan, I suspect people have forgotten the power of crystals. I am a big crystal buff, frankly. So, I think it's kind of good to meditate with them personally. Oh, okay. And hold on. Okay, just waiting for your picture to come up. I see you in the green room, but I'm not seeing you here. So let's try this again. Remove, add. How bizarre.
There we
I
go.
could say, there we are. Okay,
All
I'm
right.
trying a whole other thing.
Okay.
I'm back. All right.
That was weird. Everything just dropped and went. Phew.
It did.
Can
Yeah,
you hear
I
me
know.
okay?
Yes, yeah. No, you just kind of went frozen. We were just like, okay, we'll try again.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
StreamYard just crashed on me. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, we were still going and you were just gone. So, okay. So let's talk about we've talked about telepathy, we've talked about the communication. Um what about, I mean, it's a little concerning, but you're talking about Earth level extinction. Do they tell you about things that are coming? Is this something that they're trying to warn you about or warn people about, or is this something that they're just talking about that's happened before? We know it happened before. Is there concern of I have to say, a repeat?
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Can you hear us? We're good? Earth level extinction. Oh,
Okay, we're
you're cutting out. Yes. You're
okay.
cutting.
Yeah, because you're breaking
Yeah, breaking up. You're
up
breaking.
there.
Yeah.
Just put
And gone. Well, somebody is definitely, I think, over there. I mean, mind you, if we think about it, the very first time he came on the show, we also had a bit of a tech issue. So much so, in fact, that we had to remove the episode. And the last one was just pretty much flawless. So now it looks like we're back on the bandwagon again a little bit. So coming into chat, I will just put up some of the comments as well. Yeah, this one, Kathy, the Pontier messing with you. I think so. I think it could be a thing for sure. The Swish Big Brother's listening all the time. Not wrong on this. I thought this happened before. It did. It did happen before. Yes, absolutely. So, we were mentioning, I guess Jen was mentioning Preston Dennett before. Preston, I just want to give him a shout out. Preston and Dolly Saffron are on Monday nights on the Light Gate from 8 until 10 p.m. And very interesting guests, very interesting content, of course. We love Preston. He's been on the show many, many times. He's coming back on in December, just so you guys all know. And why don't I give you guys a heads up on a date? Mark your calendars, because he is back on, let's see. Oh God, guys, I'm all over the place. I apologize. Preston, December 4th. So that's going to be Preston's next appearance on the show. But both he and Dolly are dear friends and have both been on several times. So you can check out the archives and do check them out. That on their show. Good evening. We'll have to rewind this one. Hi, Richard. You might just have to. It's kind of going into different directions for sure. So we've got, I love Preston as well, Jen. He's just so down to earth, just salt of the earth. He's just a wonderful, wonderful human being. And back. Oh, nope. There. Yes. Good. I think. Hello. Hello. Nope. We're losing you. You're completely frozen. Completely frozen. Completely frozen. The puppy is now house trained. Yay. It's a cute puppy. You're frozen, Kevin. And gone. Okay. Okay. So with that said, keep the comments coming, guys. So let's talk about we'll get Kevin's take on it when it comes back. Earth level extinction. A little bit of a concern. Earth level extinction. I mean, it happens every what? 11, 12, 12,500 years, 13,000 years. We definitely get that. What is in that tomb? Tomb? What am I missing? Interference. Yeah, I don't really know. I know it's a great live. I know. Well, maybe there's just something that does not want him talking. What is in the room? Oh, God, it's CL. I'm okay. I know. That's sort of what I'm kind of wondering about. I mean, they visit him all the time, so it's possible. I think if he comes back on, I'm going to recommend that as well. In my room. Well, I've got a lot of things in my room. What are you seeing? Elaborate. Elaborate, CL. Extinctions as a way to dumb down human beings. Again, you're not wrong as well with that. Validates how much truth there is out there. Yes, 100%. 100%. It was the same thing last time. Well, the time before that, yeah, it was pretty bad. We actually had to take that show down because it was just spending more time losing him. Yes, the stuff behind me. There's all kinds of stuff behind me. I've got a lot of antiquities, a lot of books. That is a skull back there. Yes, on the third shelf. It's real. Absolutely. Anything you're curious about, feel free just to make mention. I will clarify. December 4th. Yes. Preston Dennett. And we're going to be talking about something really cool. Okay. We are going to be talking about, okay, because it's December, right? So we're going to actually be talking about elves. Preston actually knows about elves. So we're going to be talking about elves. You guys definitely have to check him out. Yes, I am actually the owner of a few. I have parted with one. That guy behind me is called a phantom skull. He came out of a university in Germany a long, long time ago, and used for medical stuff. But he came to me as a haunted object. So he's very heavy because he's actually encased in glass, like molded right on it. So he's pretty rare. They're highly sought after. My oldest skull is a medieval skull, which came out of the St. Elizabeth's flood of 1425, I believe it was. So really old. I gotta go. Nice to see you, Michelle. Thank you for stopping in. Hopefully Kevin will get back and then we'll be able to finish watching or, hearing what he's got to say. He's always got great things to talk about. Let's see. We don't get Earth level extension. We get rest time after time. Yes. See, that's sad. We talked about elves and fairies here. You'd put a special jacket on. Yes, you're not wrong. And put you on meds. I know. But, let's ask ourselves, let's explore that for a minute. Are we talking with a different race of ET beings? I mean, you go back into, ancient folklore and you'll basically see that they could very well just have been another race of extraterrestrials who have been here for a very long time. Karen, I have no picture at all. If you're having a hard time, let's try this. Okay. If you're having a hard time streaming, let's just go to audio. How about that? Okay. Just go to audio if you're having a hard time streaming and we can just listen in. Because you're frozen again completely. Yeah, see, gone. So there's a lot of really, really interesting information out there that leads you to believe that we're just maybe dealing with a whole other race of beings. But I have to tell you, for those who are interested in fairies and things of that nature, next week, no, the week after, sorry, on the 27th, we have Morgan Daimler coming on, and she's been on the show in the past. She's one of those people that we're bringing forward again because of the fact that popular demand kind of thing. And she's got a new book out about fairies in North America. So the 27th, that'll be the day, guys. So tune in for her segment because she is probably one of the most versed people I know on the topic and folklore in general. So that's, okay, hold on. Kevin's back. Okay. If you have a problem, you freeze up, just turn off the camera. Maybe it's the streaming that's slowing you down. It will just go audio. Sound like a plan?
Yep. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. All right. Where do you want to go next while we have you? Because I don't know how long we'll have you for.
Okay.
So,
We were asking about extinction level events. That's what you're asking about.
Yes.
Okay. The Ponte have been talking about this adamantly for the past several years. It's getting more and more serious. The science behind it, if you want to follow the science and stay updated, if you're on Twitter, follow Suspicious Observers. So
I do.
Yeah. So what's his name again? What's his name? I can't remember.
I can never remember it. I see it come up in the stream. I just love his page.
Yeah, he's a scientist. He studies the sun. He knows his stuff in regards to the what's going on with the sun, the coming micronova, the planetary flip that could potentially happen. He's well up to date with all of it, and the Ponti follow his information because he's right. He's accurate. So he's the best person on the internet. He knows his stuff. So if you want to keep up to date,
on YouTube as well. Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah, I get daily updates by him. So
Ben Davidson, there we go.
Ben Davidson, yes, Ben Davidson.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The guy's fantastic. So, and he has lots of videos which will explain exactly what's going on with the Earth's level extinction level event. That this is a cyclical event that happens every 12,000 years. We're in the middle of it. It's happened before, and it's happened in the past and multiple different times. And we're basically hitting up to a perfect storm. But he'll give all the details in regards to what exactly is happening. So I'm going to take my glasses off so I look a little bit more rock and roll. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we are. Perfect.
There we go. Yeah.
Shake it up. Shake it up. There we are.
All right, there we go. Yeah. I don't like looking so studious. It's like, that's not me.
I know.
I should have a guitar on and be wailing here, so.
We probably could. We wouldn't hold it against you. We'd probably get nailed for copyright, but otherwise.
That's okay. But the Ponti, the Ponti have been talking about this for a long time. They are very concerned. Basically, even when I was talking with Tilcom this summer and asking him about, I was asking about my music and how to build my music career, and he says, well, you could be doing this and this, but it all depends on your son. And you could be doing this and this and this, and it all depends on your son. And I'm thinking, why does he keep talking about my son Logan? What does my son Logan have to do about this? And he's like, no, not your son. We're talking about this son.
Son. Right.
The son.
The big son.
The big son, because they're worried that it's going to go micronova. And if it does, it could mean, a best case scenario is that it just levels all the grid. That will be basically, we'll have no electricity. We'll be back to foraging and surviving and trying to get fresh water, getting food, growing your own food, and survival. No cars will work. Nothing's going to work. No electricity at all. And the grids could be down for years and years and years because everything will be fried. It happened before in 1867, the Carrington event, where there was a CME, and it actually caused the telegraphs to set on fire. So it burnt all the telegraphs. So this has happened in the past. So they warn about this, but it also could be a worst case scenario that if the CME is big enough, doesn't matter what side of the planet you're on, whether you're facing the Earth, the sun or not, it could be a complete extinction level event, destroying everything on the surface. That's the absolute worst case scenario.
Right.
And these things have happened in the past, and that's why we have stories of the Hopi, who the ant people helped them out, moving people underground. This is all part of our history. Underground cities, and humans being rescued and staying underground for periods of time until it's safe to go back outside again. Because what's happening is that we're having a geomagnetic excursion right now where the polars, the North and South Pole are their side. There's more than one South Pole. It's shifting, so it's all messed up. It's not straight and sturdy, and the magnetic field protects the Earth from the bombardment of the sun's rays. It naturally reflects it off. But when the solars are off, and you have four poles now, and now the magnetic sphere is weakened, and that's why you've heard in the news all over recently in the last several months of, there was these amazing northern lights that were seen in Cancun and Oregon and in New Mexico and South. You know, it's like, yeah, that's not really a good thing, because those CMEs were not that strong, and if it's happening like that,
well, unless you're firing up things like CERN or HARP,
well,
that
yeah,
could give it a little bit of an oomph, you know.
Yeah,
push us a little closer. So, you know,
yeah.
but I know I've heard, you know, from people that there are different races of extraterrestrials that are also concerned about this and talking about it to their contactees and their people, you know. So I was wondering what their view, the Ponte's view, was on all of this.
That happened exactly a year ago. Exactly a year ago, in November of last year, the Ponte came onto Twitter, and they were talking about these delegates who had come from deep space to Earth, to the information station, because they were, and the only thing they were talking about were evacuation plans about how to get their people out of Earth. So, and that was a big talk that was going on. Was all it was talking about was evacuation plans. And we're like, are you serious? So they're taking it extremely serious. They thought that something could have happened as early as the summer of 2024, the summer that had just passed. They thought that something big could have happened. So we're well into the middle of, you know, things could happen anytime right now. So they had,
it's close, essentially.
It's so close, yeah. So it wasn't like they're trying to abandon us, but it's like when you're on a plane and the stewardess says, "Put your mask on first before you assist others." It's the same thing that's going on. They have to take care of their people and make sure that they are safe, and that their ships are not in the blast range of when the sun goes micronova, so that they are able to help rescue us when that time comes.
Yes. Well, it's like I say, it's a very big concern. I mean, there's a belief also that a lot of races are they're just gone. They're just leaving Earth altogether, unless they're subterranean. But many who aren't are just steering clear of us for a while. So that tells me for sure we must be getting fairly close, that people don't even want, like, they don't even want to take the chance.
We're very close. The Ponte have also mentioned about that there are massive ships. A lot are like hospital ships, like equivalent to the Red Cross, that are lined up in the orbit of Neptune for two reasons. One is to assist Earth, because we're going to need the help, but the other is to have front row seats to an extinction level event, which they've never witnessed before.
Wow. That's crazy. Richard says, do the Ponte talk about the flash event? This is related to what you're talking about.
Same thing.
In a few years. Same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. We're talking about the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. So what are they advising you to do? Head for the hills, for higher ground, or go underground? Underground. Wow.
Yeah. That's what they keep saying. It's time to go underground. So it's kind of difficult for me.
That's easier said than done.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
That is easier said than done. Wow. Okay. So Claudette made an interesting comment. One moment, let me just find it. About free energy. She goes, when all of this happens, let's hope that the free energy will come. That may save us off the grid, do you think? Or is it just going to be darkness? Is it going to be, as the sun goes, we're going to be left in darkness. If we're left in darkness, that's going to be cold.
The sun is not going to go. It's a micronova. It's a micronova. It's not a full nova. If it was a full nova, we'd be gone. A micronova is basically the sun sneezes and blows its snot. Just
big enough out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That it hits the Earth. That's what this is about. But the thing is that because our magnetosphere is so weakened, if we get hit with that very large thing, it could go. It may completely knock out. If we have a pole shift, that's what we're talking about. Because what they're talking about that may happen with the pole shift, all of a sudden the pole's going to go like this, because it's no longer this, it's going to flip to this. And
Yes.
then what happens is that the earth is already wobbling. That this Ponte put it. The planet is wobbling. And one of the things they said recently is, what happens to a top that's wobbling? It doesn't self-correct, does it? It ends up spinning and flips over. That's what's going to happen with the planet. It's happened in the past, where the planet is going to do, basically, it's going to flip, and then Antarctica is going to be up at the equator, and everything else is going to be displaced. And then what happens, think about what happens to the water. What happens to the water? We get a major slosh.
Yeah.
Everything on the coastline is gone. It's all gone.
Yes.
So this is what they're worried about.
Catastrophic for sure.
Absolute catastrophic.
CL's like, when does this happen? So where it could be any time for what you're saying.
It could be any time between now and the next 2050.
Right. So it does, but you'd like to think that we've got some time, at least some prep time, but some people are saying prep quick. The tilt will change rapidly and will cause huge issues. Absolutely. They keep redoing the runways since they are based on headings. That's true. That's true. Poles. Heard that the poles will flip. Yes. I don't think the autocorrect is your friend today, CL. So I don't think. So will the flood go into the underground?
Well, there's places that are protected. There's places that are of higher ground. The places that are safe is like, and that's the reason why NASA and so many other, the CIA and the FBI have all relocated to Colorado, is because Colorado and New Mexico and that area will survive floods.
Well, you just look at Zuckerberg, built this monstrous place in Hawaii, and
dumb place to put
big
it.
Underground, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a dumb place to put it.
I know. Yeah, let's just go to volcano capital, and that's not going to end well. So okay, so that's again a little bit unnerving to think about it. So, but again, it falls into
that's the reason why. This is the reason why the Ponte and other star nations, 23 star nations, are here to have official first contact. They are still actively working at official first contact. They're just kind of doing things slowly, basically with a lot more daytime sightings, more people seeing UFOs. So they're really trying to get people to wake up and look at the skies. Slow disclosure is happening. They just don't want to scare people off. They're still worried about a false flag alien invasion being used.
Blue Book.
And if that happens...
Blue Beam.
Or Project Bluebeam, yeah. Yeah. And if that actually does happen, the Ponte said that official first contact will be canceled.
Wow. That's...
And basically, good luck. We're out of here.
Well, I mean, I think it's already, things like that have already slowly been happening. I mean, we're living in the age of AI, so we're seeing all kinds of things that we're being duped. But how many of these crafts out there we're seeing that are really, they're ours, they're human manned?
A lot of them are. Majority of them are, yeah.
Exactly. So, but I mean, I like the idea of getting us used to it. So if they are coming from assistance, we can maybe get beyond that fear, because Blue Beam is about instilling fear, and people aren't going to know what they can trust, what they can't trust what they're seeing, what they're not really seeing. CL, has this happened before? Yes. I live in Nevada. It used to be underwater, but most of it now is underground. It had volcanic activities and plate breaking. So, okay. Richard, we need to get open contact done in a few years. I think at the rate we're going, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but the United States seems to be the last ones to disclose, probably because, superpower, because there have been countries that A, have disclosed years ago. B, there's some that have always been open about it for the most part. France has been one of those countries. Peru has been one of those countries. Mexico has so many darn UFO and extraterrestrial sightings. It's mind blowing. The amount of
Yeah.
footage just that everyday people take and post online. It is mind blowing
Mm.
what comes out of Mexico.
I think they're still just waiting to have that official first contact that the whole planet will witness, and that it will no longer, it'll be a monumental event that nobody will be able to doubt that it did not happen.
So we're waiting on the U.S. essentially, who's holding everything up.
No, the OFC is going to be initiated by the Federation. So eventually it's going to happen at some point, but it may be at a point where it's like a disaster has already taken place. So I don't really know. I know the Ponti are very frustrated. They want OFC to happen now as much as we want it. They're very frustrated about it. But it's basically we have to go by what the Federation is how they're putting things through. But I know that things are still moving ahead. Sue asked, and this is I put this quote out not too long ago. She said, in the last 6 months, are we anywhere closer to OFC? And the response was, yes, because because of your star. It's because of what's going on with your star. So once again, if things get close to blowing up big, I think that's when we're going to have OFC, because we're going to need assistance. They can't save all 7.888 billion of us, but they're going to try and rescue people and move other people.
Are they looking for certain people as opposed to other people? Are they looking for people with certain abilities, people who are more open?
I know that they will be rescuing, some people. And I think that the people that will be chosen are the ones who are right-minded, who are more consciously evolved, who are already, ready to meet their Star Nation brothers. It's the equivalent, like, do you think, some jockey football guy who, goes to football games, all of a sudden wakes up on a craft, and he doesn't know anything about ETs? What do you think is going to happen? Who's going to be in trouble?
Yes.
Who's going to be physically in harm's
Aggressive.
way? It'll be the ETs.
Yes. Yes.
Extremely aggressive.
Yes.
So
yeah, I can see that.
They have to be careful. Those who are ready and who are ready for contact, I believe, will be the first ones who will be chosen. So
comment, Angels Are Alive. Hello, nice to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Hello from Washington State. U.S. government has everything to lose if they disclose because of where they have all their fingers in for the last 90 years in ufology. Real disclosure is the experiencers. Yes, I agree with that statement.
100%. 100%. Well said. You should get that tattooed on your arm.
It's true. I mean, think about it, because then they almost have to admit that they knew about abductions and didn't do anything about it. I mean,
they would have to. It's such a huge wormhole that it goes deep, because they've been reverse engineering this stuff since the World War II. The Nazis had UFOs. They had Hanabus. They had Vril. They had flying saucers. And the whole Project Paperclip. No, so the whole Project High Jump of Admiral Byrd going to Antarctica, to stop the Nazi bases down there, and they were attacked by these flying saucers that cut one of the battleships in half. So this is real stuff. This is the real thing.
Oh, if to say, you're forbidden to talk about it. When they forbid you to talk about it, there's an issue. This is interesting. I think ET is going to out the governments in forceful disclosure. I don't know. What are your thoughts on
They're
that?
going to end up. Yeah, well, I think that a disclosure is going to come from the ETs.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it's going to have to come from the ETs.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think the government's going to just really disclose.
No, they have a good thing going, I think, the way things are. So, has the Ponte ever said anything about what's going on in Antarctica? Yeah, I went there because that's pretty. There's a lot going on. There has been since the Nazis have been down there, the Germans have been down there. There's a lot going on there. Think about South America. How much is in South America? There are maps out there that show that Antarctica used to be attached to South America.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. No, there's so much with Antarctica, with civilization down there. It's flash frozen. Pyramids down there, stuff that they found deep under the ice of extraterrestrial beings. There's so much that's being covered up. I wish I knew more.
I know.
But,
Okay, let me pose this. What about the Grand Canyon? Because they know that there are things there.
Yeah.
Under NASA's control, right? You're met with armed guards pretty much when you go into certain areas that are off limits. What are your thoughts on that?
There's Egyptian, there's stuff that ties back to Egypt and some of these caves and stuff like that that's in there.
Well, they try to tell you it's a hoax, but it's not a hoax. Otherwise, why would NASA be there? Why would you be getting met by armed military? Right.
Yeah.
If they're protecting it, there's a reason. Oh, yeah. I just thought wondering if they had given you any little bit of insight on that. That's a big one.
No, they haven't given me any insight. No, that is definitely very big. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. God, I love it though. Okay. So where do you want to go next? I know. We've got about 15 minutes to play around here.
15 minutes?
15 minutes.
We think here. We could, we've talked about, some of the interesting things that has happened in the last few years was, I'm quite sure it was a Ponte who taught me about astral travel. And then I started to do that a few years ago. It happened 3 times by accident before I started to do research, trying, questioning what was going on and leaving my body. So I honestly think that because the Ponte have given me lots of downloads of information, and then this information comes out later on. I mean, they taught me about tonal language of the cetaceans and whales, which I ended up then writing a song. The song Naf Waffen actually has a translation in one of the melodies, which says, "Do you hear me?" which is a tonal language that was taught to me by the Ponte. Real story. But don't have time to get into that. But they've also, they also taught me about, telepathy and music, communicating music on a telepathic wavelength, and I've been working at that ever since for this last several years.
Music is a language, right?
Music is a language, yeah. But like tonal, there are tonal languages. The whales speak a tonal language, and they speak a telepathic tonal language.
Yes.
So tones, yeah.
Well, vibration.
And apparently,
yeah.
And apparently, the other thing that the Ponte told me this summer, they said, because I have a parrot, Frisco. I have a green sheet conure. He's my little buddy, and he talks to the birds outside all the time. The Ponte said, all that chatter that you think is just background noise, after a while, you're going to start to understand them because they are talking to each other. Like, oh, there's a hawk. Watch out. It says they're speaking to each other. Start paying attention to the language of the birds, of which what Frisco and the other birds outside are saying. So I thought that was fascinating. That
it is. I believe all species have vocalization. Like they can all communicate with one another. I think it's just we are so limited in our physical form I think when you step out of that, then those limitations go away, and you can really see the universe and all that it encompasses for what it is, right?
Yeah, and
So,
animals are highly more telepathically sensitive than we are.
yes,
Um,
yes,
and it's a big part of their communication. I mean, that's why animals can sense danger much
mm-hmm,
faster than us before
mm-hmm,
you can even make a move. But
mm-hmm,
the other thing that's really cool, this is a really interesting thing. Drudy, on the bottom here, as you can see her,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
one of her pastimes, one of the favorite things that she likes to do when she has time off, she goes with one of her girlfriends. They go down south to areas that have these swarms of birds. You ever see those swarms of birds that kind of like move around like each other, and
mm-hmm,
big swarms of birds? So
mm-hmm.
they do what's called sky kiting. So with permission, they ask these birds if they can telepathically merge with them and have fun to create different images. And so sometimes you've seen pictures that people have captured of like these tens of thousands of birds that look like a big whale, or they look like a human's face, or they look like one big bird, or they
Mm-hmm.
look like a dolphin and stuff like that. It's not
Mm-hmm.
pareidolia. It's that
Mm-hmm.
there's some star nation are doing sky kiting, and they're telepathically merging with the birds, and in fun they are creating images with the birds, and the birds are having fun, and somehow all the birds are working together to do this. It's mind-blowing if you think about it.
It's synced, right?
They're all
I think
synchronized. Yeah.
yes, yes, like starlings do that. Like they'll go in a
Starlings. Yeah,
whole
that's
group,
it. Yeah.
I think there was a couple in Europe I remember reading about, and they researched them, and because after a while it's like you say, there was some kind of a language to it all, the way they would sync and the way that their little bodies would move around, and they spent years researching this, and I'm thinking, who
Mm,
knew that was even a thing? It was fascinating.
yeah.
Question for you.
And fish do it too, apparently. Yeah, fish
Yeah,
schools. Go ahead.
yeah. I know they travel in schools. I think nature is incredible. Question: does
Yeah.
Kevin do higher consciousness work as well?
With myself. Yeah, I do it with myself. So that's where, with the telepathy, working with the telepathy, working with my telepathic communication through my music, becoming one with my instrument,
Mhm,
and writing music in the way that the Ponti have taught me. And one of the ways they've taught me is about going to the edge of the black of the universe,
mhm,
basically merging with the collective consciousness, and then creating music with the collective consciousness, and
mhm,
me just expressing my emotions and my my potency through the music, but becoming a catalyst working with the collective consciousness. And that's why
mhm.
my last two albums, every song was written in one take. One
Mm,
take. I pick up my guitar, get a sound. The whole song is just written in one take, not
mhm,
one edit.
mhm.
Just it was one
Wow.
stream of consciousness. So
Mhm,
that's for me. That's some of the consciousness work that I'm doing.
mhm,
Um, the the astral travel as well. So
mhm,
I've really been working on that in the last several years, learning how to disconnect myself at
mhm,
nighttime and being able to astral travel.
mhm,
Um, Dream work. Pay
mhm,
attention to your dreams. Your dreams are your traveling multi dimensions. So
mhm,
I love going to sleep because it's school. It really is. It's not just dreams. You are traveling multi dimensions, and you are learning stuff about yourself, and you're able to explore different things. Dreaming
mhm,
is amazing. We are actually
mhm,
awake when we were
mhm.
asleep, and we were asleep when we are awake. When you understand that, everything changes.
Yes, yes, it's a whole
Deep
other.
thoughts here, guys. Deep
It is.
thoughts, man.
Go deep. It's a big rabbit hole. I know. I
It
love it though.
is.
I love it though. Keep a dream journal. Yes. I
I
agree.
do.
I
I
do.
do.
I
It's
do.
full.
Yes. When I have
Yes.
something like out of the norm happen, I definitely write it down. So, um,
Mhm.
question, because I just went at one of the comments that are way up there now. But when you hear certain sounds, for example, some, like when you hear the clicking, the clacking, I thought that was great. I have been corrected by you and someone else going, those are mantis. I'm like,
Yes.
there's a bug in my house.
That's
What?
right.
Right. And then now I feel bad
Yeah, that's
saying it.
right.
Right. Right. So
That's true, man. I told you, you had a mantis.
I know.
That sound, that's a mantis.
And then they're clacking, just doing
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, that sound. That sound,
I'll
yes.
see.
And the
Okay.
weird insect sounds, yes, because that happened to me too.
Yeah, like little,
Yeah.
like just little crazy things that
Yeah.
happen. So what?
I had a mantis visit me one time. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, clearly so did I. I mean, it's why I'm blocking it all out. I don't know, but I hear they're very kind. So I'm just trying to roll with it, right? So still growing.
Oh my God, I've learned more actually last night about the mantis. Jeff Selver, you'll want to have him on your show.
I have.
Holy cow!
Yes, he
Have
has
you?
been. He's
Oh my
amazing.
God!
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm having him on my show. I'm interviewing him next.
No, come back.
Group.
Come back. Come back. Where are you going? Oh, don't freeze now. We're too close. Too close. Okay.
I can hear
You're
you.
having him. Okay,
I can
good.
hear you.
You froze completely. I'm like,
I can hear you fine.
Okay, good.
Okay,
so Jeff
no,
Silver's
I can
coming
hear you.
on. Okay.
He came, Jeff Selver, yes. And
Yes.
he did a presentation with our experiencer group last night. Somebody asked him about the mantis, and he said, yes, they are like creator gods. They are beyond space time. So there's a lot more to the mantis than we realize. So, and my first experience with the mantis is he totally got it because he's good friends with Susie Hansen.
Yes.
I was hypnotized. I was hypnotized once, and the last thing that the hypnotist asked me to do was to go all the way into the future. I went all the way into the future, and I was met by these three. I thought they were just grays, like, ETs.
Mm-hmm.
This is before I even met the Ponte. They looked like three grays, but they had like insect heads. Their eyes looked more like praying mantises. And I was confused by it all because at that point, I didn't know about the mantis beings. I just knew about grays because this is like, and so the hypnotist asked me, what's going on? I'm being met by three grays and they're handing me this ball of light. I take this ball of light and I put it into my mouth, and then I become one with Source. I become part with God again. And I'm reset. And then it was about 2 months later, it was the first time I was ever watching a presentation by Susie Hansen talking about being on the ships, and then she starts talking about the mantis beings and drew some pictures. And I went, oh my God, they're real? I saw them under hypnosis. I was like, they're real? So somehow I have a connection with the mantis because I was shown them under hypnosis before I even knew that they existed. I don't understand it. It's still a mystery to me. What is my connection with them? So when Jeff Selver talked about they're beyond space time, all of a sudden I clicked and thought, I think you're right.
Yes, because they're as Richard say, really science oriented, and they help with the hybrid program. So that's very possible as well. I don't know. I do believe. I think if you have contact with some, why wouldn't you just automatically start being connected to others? Who are also of like mind. Alan's like, I don't trust anything that looks like a mantis or any insect. Call me crazy. Well, I was a little bit concerned about that too, but then I mean, talking with Preston Dennett, talking with you, I've spoken with other people like, no, they're actually very kind. But then I know there are other people who have not had such kind experiences. It's almost like every race has this, it's not so nice people. We're the same. We've got great people. We've got not so great people. I'm sure it works the same in every community, right?
But don't be prejudiced against a star nation but that's a bug. I'm not going to trust a bug. Really?
No. I know.
I've met reptilians. I've met reptilians. Are you going to say that they're evil? No. There are more species. There are more species of reptilians in the galaxies than there are humans. and many are benevolent, very spiritual. I've met. My first star nation I was ever met by was a sauroid reptilian who met me in my condo in 2017. An amazing experience.
See, again, don't judge a book by its cover, because I mean, I think
No.
when you RV some of these, it's like anything else. Some not so great, others are just, pretty
People give the
amazing.
Alpha Draconian reptilians a bad name. I'm very protective of the Alpha Draconians. We're talking about the reptiles with wings who look like dragons.
Yes.
I telepathically merged with one back in 2018 in front of 200, 300 people at the Alien Cosmic Expo. And he actually allowed me to feel what it was like to be physically him. When he dropped into my body, I almost threw up, and then I was trying to interrupt the speaker. Really, I was embarrassed, but it was not me speaking; it was him speaking. But then all of a sudden, I felt like my back expanded. I was like 16 feet tall. I felt these heavy things between my shoulder blades. My back felt electrified. His message was very simple. Okay, let me know when I don't freeze. Let me know when you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Still here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The message was, do not judge a star nation by their appearances, because that's a cosmic prejudice. You wouldn't want to be judged. You wouldn't want all humans to be judged on one group. Don't do the same with us. Judge the individual.
100%. And I think that's where we have to leave it. We're at the top of the hour already. So,
all right.
Okay.
We made it.
Woohoo! So how do people find
teeth.
you? I know, it's quite crazy, eh? Yeah, it's
best place to find me now these days is my website, pyramidsonmars.com. You can also find me at my radio show, Pyramids on Mars UFO Radio, on the Artist First Network. So those are the best places to find me, pyramidsonmars.com. Lots of links there.
What do you have coming up? Anything
What's
fun?
that?
What do you have coming up? Anything fun? Concerts? Anything like that?
Just looking to book more concerts for the new year. We just played a show in Toronto a couple weeks ago. We are rocking it. We are freaking shredding it up. Pyramids on Mars is playing live throughout Ontario, so really exciting. So keep an eye out for us.
I'm excited for you. So, well, thank you
me too.
for joining me. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's a lot of fun, very informative, and people really look forward to when you come on. So I'm glad that we had you more than we didn't. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Yay.
So I know. So I will be in touch, and I will have numbers. If you want to copy the recording, because I know from your end it was kind of sketchy, I would be happy to send you one so you have the full show.
I would love it. Then I could post it on my channels too.
Okay, yeah, because I know it just cut off every time that you dropped off. So I will send you one, and then you can play around with it if you need to a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, thanks for having me back on, Michelle.
It's a pleasure, and you take care and have a good holiday and keep rocking.
Okay, yeah, you too. Yes,
all right,
will do.
Thanks a lot.
Okay,
thank you. Thanks,
all
Kevin.
Right.
Okay,
Bye.
guys. I know. All right, guys. We've come to the end of another fantastic segment here of The Outer Realm. Big thank you to Kevin for joining us. Thank you guys all in chat. You just totally are awesome, and you make it that much more fun. So thank you. Big thank you to Folgers Coffee for sponsoring tonight's show, every night show. Big thank you to Justin Snicker. Big thank you to Steve McGinnis. We appreciate you all so very much. Now, again, guys, next Wednesday, he's in the chat room tonight. David Stig Hansen is going to be discussing his research on the Reshat structure and the African Atlantis. He's made 3 expeditions to the structure, also known as the Eye of Africa. He believes this natural formation may hold the key to unlocking the legend of Atlantis. His discoveries include evidence of ancient quarries, canals, shorelines, seawalls, other potential intelligently created features, and he has evidence of a cataclysmic event there. So he's going to share a lot of that with us tomorrow, or next week, I guess, on Wednesday night. And Thursday, we welcome back friend Micah Dank, who's going to be sharing some of his further research on astrology within the ancient texts. Now, he's been on the show, he's done the Bible, he's done the Book of Enoch. This time he's going to do a series of ancient Sumerian texts, which is going to be pretty interesting as well. So again, thank you all. Have a terrific weekend, and we will see you all next week. Good night.